Some people forget that the cleaner's schedule, and there was a lot of commotion.
Why did
in the
you go
morning.
out? I would have just started getting my feather duster out and going around them. They might have thought it was
Did
part
you
of the
want
act.
to join in?
Did you see their faces? It could have been me.
And stuff. That's why we don't do domestic cleaning.
Coraline, I know you've been in the industry for 38 years, so you must have some frigging funny stories. I'd love you to tell me more about them.
Why don't I start with the sauciest one yet? Don't worry, I've still got some really epic ones for all of the rest of the episodes, but I feel like this one's going to get everyone really excited. If you have children around, maybe put your earphones in. But essentially, before I get into the story, I just want to say that some of these are my personal stories. Some of them are my parents' stories, my sister's stories, some of my staff that have been with me for many, many years. So if you hear me say someone else's name, well,
So you
that's
literally
why.
do have the whole family in this cleaning business, which is frigging amazing. And just to reiterate, they've been in this business for 38 years in Australia. That's incredible.
I am only 39, so... Just
Right.
saying. I have been in cleaning for many, many years. I have been on the tools as early, like...
So if you're 39 and they've been this for 38 years, you must have been conceived maybe at a job or...
Ooh, mum and dad. Might have to... that could be a
That
dirty
could be a
story.
good question. Anyway.
Let me circle back on that. Next episode, I'll answer that question.
Great.
Tune back in. So... Essentially, it's a family-run business. I'm not on the tools anymore, but when I do need to get on the tools, I get on the tools. Like I have a photo of me pregnant, only how old's Ari now? Nearly 4 years ago when the world shut down and cleaners were still allowed to clean.
Yeah.
But Australia sent everyone home, and so there was no one to clean, and everyone was too scared, and all my cleaners were either at home or got sent home overseas, and so here I am, 9 months pregnant with this massive belly, with a pack vac on my back, cleaning. So you might think, oh, she's in her ivory tower doing the thing. Sometimes my staff think that, and I'm like, no, I'm still on the tools when I need to be. So imagine, we clean. As I mentioned in the last episode, we clean all sorts of things. And we've got some really interesting stories of people expecting us to do things and to just kind of get on with it.
Exactly.
The saucy one, and we've got many of these, but, one specific one is typically when you clean an office, you would go after hours. So you never clean an office in hours. It's a lot easier. We can get our work done a lot quicker. And it just means that no one's in the way.
Sure.
So we typically start a job around 6 p.m. if it's an office clean. And, depending on how big it is, we will finish and how big the team is, we'll finish in a few hours or we'll go well into the night. Some people forget that the cleaner's schedule. And, for some offices, we'll go weekly. So some offices, it's nightly. Some it's 3 times a week. It just depends on what the client wants.
What did you see?
Well, we opened the door to the CEO's big office, and there was a lot of commotion. The desk was, being used. And,
wow.
I know. And we were like, oh, my God, what do we do? Like he kind of saw us and we just closed the door and continued our way. And by the end of it, we thought, do we clean the office?
What a
we
legend.
We don't want to get a
Why
complaint in
did
the
you go
morning.
out? I would have just started getting my feather duster out and going around them. They might have thought it was part
Did
of
you
the
want
act.
to join in? You would have wanted to join in.
Did you see their faces? It could have been me. Say no more.
Oh my God, Jodi. Maybe it was you. We were not in Sydney though. We are
okay. Definitely wasn't me.
We are recording this in Sydney, but we are Queensland based, which is hilarious. So what's really interesting is that obviously we have to keep confidentiality, right? And we don't want the office manager to walk into her CEO's office the next day and be like, you didn't empty the bin, you didn't wipe down the desk. So we have to be really mindful.
It would probably be full of condoms by then, wouldn't it?
Well, they do it after hours. Anyway, towards the end of our shift, he kind of gave us made sure he was seen, I've left the office. Wow. Can you go into my office and finish it off? And we're like, no worries, mate. We are silent. No
Absolutely.
one will know. So, the way
And
that we
sorry to interrupt, but was this a regular occurrence or was it the same, just the once? Imagine you did that each time and it was a different individual.
No, for that client, it was that one time.
Right,
I think he learnt his lesson. Maybe he took it elsewhere, like in the car
or in the broom cupboard or
maybe, or maybe back at the hotel. Like, just book a fucking hotel, Like,
why not? Big office.
Anyway, yeah, I think he just wanted to swing his, show who's boss.
Swing his what?
Swing his big whatever. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look that closely.
Jesus Christ.
But they looked like they were having fun.
Amazing.
They looked like they were having fun. This is the kind of stuff that as cleaners, people just think we have a broom, we have a bucket, and that's it. And we're not like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
But it must be difficult because I remember this one time I was staying at the London in LA, right? Mm. And I'd gone, I was knackered from shopping, standard.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Literally. And I laid on the bed and then all of a sudden this frigging noise came out of the bathroom like someone had bad gastro, right? So the cleaner had actually gone into the bathroom and I heard this like...
Oh, so he was there while you were in your room?
Yeah, and I was lying down and there was this frigging noise. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah, that happened and he kind of sheepishly walked out.
Did he say sorry?
I can't remember.
Look, we used to do housekeeping, so I'm very well versed in housekeeping, and I'm surprised that he used a guest room because there are...
Not as surprised as I was.
He would have heard you come in with your swipe
clearly
door.
not because it was, the noise was overtaking him.
So I actually have a story about bowels.
Oh, great, let's go.
Let's get into it. So... the issue, like the thing with cleaners, especially commercial cleaners, is that our job is literally relationship based. Like if someone doesn't like the cleaner, they'll just get rid of you. They won't say like, I want a different team. They won't say things like that. So me as the CEO, I really try and harness my relationships as much as I can because it is a relationship business. Even though we are cleaning, people forget that like it's all about relationships. Anyway, most of our relationships are either with the owner of the business or the office manager. Now, this one client had a new office manager. She'd only been there for a couple of weeks.
I'm going to learn about her bowels now. Aren't I?
Oh, my God. She called us and she's like, you guys haven't cleaned the toilets overnight. There is like, it is disgusting in there. The female toilets smell. And we're like, oh, my God. We check, we have GPS on our staff. And so I was like, they've cleaned the toilets, but okay, no worries. Because we act really fast, unlike most cleaning companies, we got there within half an hour. We went into the bathrooms and actually someone had a bowel issue, like someone had gastro and had
But they were still there having this issue?
No, you could just, you can tell.
Okay.
So as cleaners, we can tell whether our teams have done something or not, or if something has happened recently.
Sure, okay.
So you could tell that someone had bowel issues that morning. We could just tell. So we said to this new office manager, which we hadn't built a relationship with, which is the worst. We said, look, we're going to clean it up for you, but actually our team have cleaned up. But this is going to be an extra charge because you called us out and you didn't wait till this evening. Like we hadn't scheduled for this. Obviously, if our cleaners don't do it, we cop the charge, right? She was not impressed.
So how much did that extra piece of gastro cost them?
It was a call out fee. So it's about like, $180, $200. Wow. It's not that much, but it is a lot. It is money. And she refused to pay, even though I wonder if she was the one with the gastro issue and she was in a new job and she was so embarrassed. We lost the contract.
Wow.
I know. That's the
very
thing.
harsh.
Like, it's very harsh.
It's a question, okay, away from the bowels. How do you guys deal with a lost contract? Because I know you guys...
So hard.
I know you guys, like... They become your family and yet your clients become family. What does that make you feel?
And not just that, like getting a new contract's really hard because there's so much competition. Like cleaning businesses, literally in Australia, there are 64,000 cleaning businesses. That includes commercial and domestic, but that's a lot of competition, right? And so, yeah, when we lose a contract, it really hurts. And I always have to say to my operations team, like, we win some, we lose some. Like we just can't take it personally. For this example that I just shared or this story, we just hadn't built the relationship. And so I genuinely think that the bowel issues were hers. And so I think she was in a new job. She was completely embarrassed. she didn't want to take this invoice to her new bosses. Imagine, like,
Yeah, why did they have to come out again? You know, who's had a shit in the toilet?
it was easier to get rid of us than
Yeah.
to have to own up that, like, I had food poisoning and I bombed the bathroom. So where we
Like I bombed the bathroom.
totally, I feel like as cleaners, like we're really like I kind of feel like
you
a
must-
victim, you know, because we are so
Dude,
underappreciated.
I take my hats off to you. Like I'm not actually a precious princess, but I just yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. But you know, like our teams don't like cleaning up after someone's gastro. You know, like I think again, it's just like you're the cleaners, you guys just clean it up. Anyway, we
Totally.
cleaned it up. We had to cop it on the chin. We'll cop it on the chin if our team didn't do the right thing. But when it was obvious that someone had an issue that morning,
Yeah.
of course we're going to charge you.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
Imagine this, right? An electrician comes out and fixes something. Most people are going to pay their bill, but because we're a cleaner, we don't get that. Like it's
Yeah.
just that level of.
it's a respect thing,
It's
or
a
just
respect.
the
It's a huge
level
respect
of,
thing, and I think because like there's no degree, there's no apprenticeship for cleaners, even though we are professional cleaners. Like if you get a cleaner come out that has done something for 40 years compared to someone who's just started 6 months ago, you are going to see the difference.
100%.
But people do not value that. People don't value that.
100%.
Anyway, I could go on and on about
I know
it.
on a tangent.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the passion though.
I'm so passionate about it. I think, yeah, we're just so underrated and we just don't get treated like professionals. Like I said, like
Yeah,
if
for
it was a
sure.
plumber or a tradie and any other tradie, they get taken like seriously.
Yeah.
Cleaners do not get taken seriously. But
Yeah.
we've got thick skin. We've learned to cope with it over the last
And is
40
there
years.
like a criteria when you go into each job that, there's a standard that you need to set that you've trained your team to do? Or-
Totally. Yeah. There's like, we've got a huge training protocol. Not everyone cuts it out as a cleaner. Like, it is good. You know, a lot of people have cleaning as a second job just to get extra money.
Yeah.
But not everyone is a good
But
cleaner.
they actually don't give a crap, do they? They're just doing it.
No.
Whereas your company actually, you do care.
Yeah.
You want to keep them. It's all about attracting and retaining.
Totally. And, people don't realize like a domestic cleaner and a commercial cleaner are so different. Sometimes we get people who are domestic cleaners applying for our jobs and we say no because
Okay.
the way that you clean a house is very different to the way that you clean a commercial space. One, the chemicals. Chemicals that you use are so different, or the products that you use in a domestic environment compared to a commercial environment.
Okay, tell me
completely
more.
different.
I'm not across this.
No, I know most people are not. As a commercial cleaner, you and this is something that we come up with all the time. People will call us up and say, your team was only here for 20 minutes, and they're
Oh,
timing
no. All right,
you.
Karen,
Oh my
pipe
God,
down.
far out. But meanwhile, there's like 6 cleaners. So you go 20 minutes times 6, old love, like come on. And then the products that use, we're not going to use a domestic vacuum cleaner that doesn't have the power like
Yeah.
it does a commercial cleaner. Like there's all these little things that make such a huge difference. And that's part of our training. We make sure that our staff have the right chemicals
Sure.
for the right industry. For example,
So, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
Go,
You just
do
said
it.
about the training. I can't imagine half of these cleaners that come off the boat. Sorry, again, bit of
Oh my God.
racism there. Sorry,
Babe.
I'm sorry, that was
I'm
bad.
so big on
I
racism.
know, sorry, yeah, I'm a little bit racist. I'm English, but I'm not. Sorry, can't say
so
that.
I will say
Hold on, sorry.
yeah, okay, go.
But you said
I'll circle back.
You said sorry. You said training. So I can't imagine a lot of cleaners get training. Talk me through the training that your company offers your staff.
It'll depend on the industry. So depending, like I know it sounds
I mean,
crazy.
do they, get
we definitely don't use
feather dusters. I
feather
love feather
dusters.
dusters.
Oh my God, I said to
So-
Jodi, if you bring a feather duster, Dad is going to kill you.
I've just got that image of Mr. Belvedere from American Pie, with his ass hanging out in a feather duster.
I know, but he's not clean.
No.
But he's cleaning the house.
I know, but it could be fun. I'd like one of them.
Note to self, if you want to give Jodi a present, get her a
Christmas
feather
present,
duster.
Mr. Belvedere, feather duster, arse out.
Look, the training happens on the job.
Yep.
Okay. The teams will be allocated to separate industries, and so based on that, they will get on the job training.
Yep.
And then we have a separate team that's an auditing team. They audit every site, on a regular basis, and then based on that, we can see where the cleaner's not doing a good job, and then we go back and do on the job training.
Yeah, okay.
And we can see, like, we have GPS tracking, so we can see where they're doing things, how they're performing the scope, if they're not doing
That's
it properly.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot more detailed than people realize.
I get it. And do you have KPIs
Yeah.
for the listeners? That's key performance indicators?
Yeah, so we have their scope. Every client has a different scope, and then
Yeah.
that becomes the cleaner's KPIs.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of our saucy stories for episode 1. We're going to be sharing so much more. We love the banter. Come back for more. I hope you like those two really. We went from one end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Well, we were both on both ends.
And we're
same
going to
end.
get dirtier.
Oh, God. Don't set the expectations too high. I've got to dig deep for more stories.
It's all right, I've got them, don't worry.
Thank you for tuning in. Come back for more. I was going to ask, did you go that night?
Not with that on my face. Christ, seriously. Like, hey guys, hey, I really love you.
Did you buy them?
We are dirty. But anyway, that's
Sorry, Mum and Dad.